All right, are we on? I believe we are. Good comments already. Hello, Nison Jimenez. Hello, David Mercer. It's David says, "Are you feeling well?" It's morning. I know, David. I've been out here since 7:45. Can you believe it? That is funny. Thank you. For you newcomers, that's one of my regulars, David, marveling at the fact that I'm painting in the morning. You do well to marvel, my friend. My wife made me do it. Not really. Although she did think it was probably a good idea for me to try a morning. So anyway, I crawled out of bed this morning. Only my fellow night owls understand the significance of that statement. Like somebody's trying to steal a car over there this morning. Anyway, this is Daily Art Adventure number 678, and I forgot my clapper. There we go. That'll have to do. Daily Art Adventure. And you newcomers, by the way, if you see that, you might be wondering, DAA, what does that, well, okay, that stands for Daily Art Adventure, okay? So only the, hello, I'm good. Only the old timers and regulars around here know the secret language, the secret codes, the secret handshakes. Anyway, yes, I am out. It's morning. Can you believe it? In fact, I don't have a whole lot more time left to paint this morning. I got to jump in the car. My wife and I are driving to the mountains of North Carolina again. We were just there a couple weeks ago. This time, I'm teaching a watercolor class tomorrow in Boone, North Carolina, at Cheap Joe's, by the way. Some of you might know about Cheap Joe's Art Supplies there in Boone. And I will try to broadcast. I hope I can get away with that tomorrow morning. And yes, you heard me right. I'm teaching watercolor. I don't teach watercolor very often, but I love it. And I'm teaching, to be honest, I'm teaching my idiosyncratic watercolor technique, which I call watercolor sketch, so as not to be confused with the serious my compatriots who do serious watercolor painting, like David Stickle. If you don't know David Stickle, you should look him up. He's a great friend and an awesome, in my mind, in my book, sets the bar for super realism in watercolor. Beautiful stuff. All right, now back to that's tomorrow, and I do hope to broadcast tomorrow. Let me pause just a second from my drawing with dark details. I've got this. So this is the kind of stuff. Whoops, did I just lose you for some reason? Uh-oh. Give me just a minute. Let me check on my technology. Make sure that this phone is charging. Okay, I am charging, but my battery got down. Am I still here? Give me just a minute. Let's make sure I'm broadcasting here. What I'm doing, this detailed drawing, dark details in oil, is the kind of thing that I often don't broadcast because it's just too finicky, too small and detailed, and can get rather boring. So forgive me, I'm liable to be boring here in the next hour or so. But I decided to go ahead and broadcast anyway, because I think today's broadcasting is going to end at the end of this phase, this stage of the painting process. So I decided to go ahead and broadcast, even though what I'm doing is small details. All right, I think I'm broadcasting, am I? To tell you the truth, I have so much sun hitting my equipment that I can't quite see what's going on. Forgive me.
Is that acrylic or oil?
Oil, definitely. Acrylic, well, most of what you see on the canvas actually is acrylics. I start in acrylics and finish in oil.
Okay.
So the only thing that's oil on the painting right now is a thin glaze, real thin, transparent, and then these dark lines and the white stuff. Everything else is acrylic. So, and you wouldn't know that if I didn't tell you.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to tell. But when I'm finished, I call it an oil painting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Thank you. All right, forgive me, friends. I think I'm broadcasting. I wouldn't bet my life on it. Oh, that might be the end of it right there. Okay, we'll find out in just a minute if I'm still broadcasting. Testing, can you still hear me? All right, I have no monitor whatsoever. I'm so sorry, folks. Again, technical craziness. There's, I don't know whether I should start explaining all the stupid mistakes that it's possible to make. Some of the battery packs that you buy and you plug, all my stuff's plugged into a battery pack. Some of the, forgive me, stupid battery packs, after you plug things in, you have to turn them on. Now, that's the distinct minority. Do you understand? Like almost all the battery packs, you just plug them in and they immediately start charging up your phone. So that's the way I've been trained, so to speak, by the technology. You plug it in and then I just come to discover, oh no, this one, you have to push this tiny little black button over here. So forgive me for my multiple ineptitudes. And I think I am broadcasting again. So good to have you on board. So let me talk about painting, since I think I'm broadcasting. So this, what you see me doing right now, is one of the what I would call left brain, analytical, mathematical, careful, sit down, no shortcuts, butt in chair, take time to draw phases. Okay, it's one of those. It's one of those, all those words. Sit your butt in your chair. There's no shortcut. Stop dreaming of a way to do this quicker. There's no way to do this quicker. You just have to get the work done. Right? So, hang on, I've got a mistake coming up here. I believe I've grown in the last several years in this regard, in this respect. Now, let me back up. I have had a stated goal. That is to say, I've told you, I've told everybody, for the last several years, I've had a very intentional goal. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit. You know what? This building is too low. Ha! There we go. That'll fix things. That will help. Okay, so correcting a mistake, and now is certainly the time to correct it. There does come a time when it's too late. That is the final edit layer. It's too late at that point to make big corrections. But it's barely, just squeaked in under the wire here. Just barely not too late here to make a correction in drawing. Anyway, what was I starting to say? Oh, stated goal of the last several years for my paintings, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I said, you know what? For my paintings to be better, they need to be both more accurate and more messy at the same time. So more messy painting and more accurate painting, both. Now, if that sounds like a oxymoron, like opposites to you, then you are paying attention. And forgive me, all of a sudden, right as I'm talking there, and the sun comes over the top of this building, and it's shift time. I have one topic crowding out another, so let me remember to come back to that messy and neat thing. And let me give you a free tip. People are always confused. I mean, incessantly, when strangers come up and talk to me, they're invariably and incessantly confused about the direction that I have my easel pointing and set up. They've watched cartoons, doggone it. They know that an artist sets up his easel facing, I'm being kind of mean and nasty and facetious here. They've watched cartoons, and they know that an artist sets up his or her easel facing the subject that they're drawing or painting. I'm being facetious, right? You recognize that. All right, I think I'm back. Sorry about that, you guys. You saw my chat there. I'm back. Oh, good. I didn't realize that one of the chargers I was using, as you saw, required to turn on. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, I was talking about several things. One is which direction my easel faces, and I was just going to mention that the number one determining factor about which way my easel faces has to do with the sun. Think about it. You can't paint with sun on your easel, and you can't paint with sun on your body. So I'm sitting here with three umbrellas over me, one of which is attached to one of the city parking signs, and I'm hoping that I get out of here before the city comes and complains that I've attached personal property to their signs. All right, so that takes care of which way the easel's facing. The next, I was saying that I've been on this trajectory for several years for my paintings to be more accurate and more abstract at the same time, which of course are opposites. So I'm trying to squeeze those two opposites together. But I have inside that broad trajectory to more accurate and messy. I have a word of caution that will probably surprise some of you if you're one of my regular viewers. And that is that if you ever have to choose between loose or accurate, choose accurate. That's coming from somebody who, as you know, believes very strongly in the power of interactive painting. That is, that the viewer has to be engaged in fixed the image, right? You know that. So, but in spite of that, deeply held principle, I believe, if push comes to shove, you better be accurate. And accurate, of course, I don't mean that every tree has to be, everything has to be in the right place, but perspective has to be correct. Figures, people have to be correct. Vehicles, cars have to be correct. And again, I don't mean correct in like that you can tell that it's a Nissan I don't mean correct in that sense, but it has to look like a real car. So this whole phase that I'm doing right now, sitting down, in fact, I find sometimes if I sit down, it helps me to get rid of the jitters and just focus, to not be in a hurry, take whatever time is necessary. Are you a painter by any chance?
I was an art teacher.
Oh! I have an art teacher watching over my shoulder.
Believe
How
me,
sweet. What is your name?
Donna Marie.
Hi, Donna Marie. Where did you teach?
I taught at a private school in Raleigh, RCC.
Oh, yeah. I bet
First
we have a
grade
lot of
through
friends.
sixth.
I bet we have a lot of friends. Do you know the Kikers, Travis and Becky Kiker?
I haven't been.
That was
it's
20
been
years.
years.
Oh, yeah, well, that was 20 years ago. I'm going back a ways. Oh, well, bless you. Thank you for teaching. Wow. So you're actually interested in what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm very much interested.
How fun. Well, thanks for hanging out over my shoulder.
I hope you don't mind me doing that.
Not at all. No. As long, I'm talking to people on YouTube, mostly. But I'm always glad for a real live audience. Very much so. So Donna, I'm like most, well, I don't know if it's most. I used to be a real tight realist. And I describe that. I think that's the normal art journey, good art journey, is you spend the first half of your art journey learning how to draw stuff that looks like stuff. And then you spend the second half of your art journey learning how to paint stuff that looks like paint. And over the abstract elements, the texture, the design, the color, the composition, becomes more important. But as you hear me saying here, in spite of that belief, in fact, with this layer, with this stage right here, where I'm drawing with small brushes, dark lines, my painting actually goes a little, the pendulum is swinging a little bit too much to the realistic side. But with the future layers, I'm going to bring it back and sort of mess this up, if you will. But I have found that if I don't do a very intentional, like I say, butt in chair, slow down and draw, that I'm too liable to end up with errors in drawing that the viewer doesn't like. And of course, there's a bunch of errors that don't matter. Like, doesn't matter that I added a flag here that's not really there. That doesn't matter, of course. But things like perspective, so on and so forth. Anyway, so as I've gone along, and again, I was an illustrator for many years. So I did hyper-realistic, tight, sit at my desk,
Wow.
draw like this, And so it's been quite the journey coming out of that phase of life. So now I'm a big believer in abstraction. But this phase right here is I'm really grinding, nose to the grindstone, draw the thing and draw it right. Then I'll come back later and add mess to this. So what kind of stuff do you like to do?
Well, I used to dabble in watercolor, and I like abstract.
Yeah.
I go to the art museum on a regular basis. But
Do you really?
Honestly, I turn my attention more to interior design.
No kidding. Good for you. Well, I think that's great. I really do.
So part-time, I stage homes for resale.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, mainly it's just that people have too much junk.
Yeah, that's right. We do too. We fit that description. Quit talking about me. We just met. You shouldn't be insulting me so quickly.
Yeah, the 3 words in design is edit, edit, and edit.
That's right.
Well, I better get back to work or I won't have a
What
job.
delightful.
Nice
Good,
to have
good
met
to
you.
meet you, Donna. Come back when you see me again.
I will.
What fun. This lady was standing over my shoulder listening to every word I was saying to you guys. She was really tuned in. And said, you must be an artist. She's an art teacher. Bless her heart. Boy, my thanks and my respect, my hat really is off to all art teachers. For a number of reasons. Thank you for trying to mold the minds of the younger generation. Thanks for putting up with a lot of crap. Anyway, big kudos to those of you who teach art. My favorite art teachers that I've known, not that I had, but here in Raleigh, Bob Rankin. After, I think, 30 years, nearly 30 years at Sanderson High School, one of the big anchors high schools here in Raleigh. And just a delightful guy. And I think took his mission in life quite seriously. Many times, I'm rambling now, but many times troubled youth, the troubled kids in high school are in fact the artists or artsy kids that don't know they're artists yet. And I know from firsthand experience what it's like to be a creative, out-of-the-box thinker in inside the box education. And it's painful. It is really painful. And anyway, Bob Rankin really did an awesome job for many years. He knew he was the last great hope. We've talked about this. Yeah, he was the last great hope for many of these kids. If he didn't get them hooked in art class, their next stop was the state pen or whatever. That's just a certain segment of the population fits that description, folks. I'm not saying all artists are that. A lot of creative people. And I bet if you're an artist and you're watching me, there's a number of you that say, yep, that was me. Not that you're on the verge of a life of crime, but you identify with me when I say being an out-of-the-box thinker inside a hyper box of American education was a difficult game. In fact, the older I got, the most difficult part of my education journey was in fact earning a master's degree. The older I got, so it was in my mid-30s by the time I was done with that, the older I got, the more irritated I was with the box. I made it, I got through.
Well, at least he's not putting the license plate numbers on the cars.
Yeah. Get people in trouble.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, ladies.
Now, do you do pictures? Do you do anything?
Yeah, I do. Like people? I do people sometimes. Yep.
Okay.
But this is what I do more than anything else. Is cityscapes.
Cityscapes.
Yep. I like the energy of cities.
Yeah.
People like you walk up.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
Well, thank you. And y'all work in this building, I think. Right?
Yes, sir. Duke Energy.
We're in
Yes,
Duke Pens.
Yes, sir.
You people take all my money.
No. We make sure engineering. We make sure the lights on. We don't have nothing to do with the money. We just make sure the lights on.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, lady.
I walked by this morning.
Did you?
Walked by this morning, it was a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Well,
that
fun.
was
Thank
great.
you.
Very good.
Thank you. That was fun. You take all my money. No. Let me make sure your lights stay on. Oh, what a great little exchange. I love it. As you can tell, I really do like painting on the street. It's good to be back. You guys have been following me for maybe a year or two. Maybe you probably didn't realize. This is me. This is my native habitat. I haven't done much of it in the last year. Back. Yeah, I do hope. I've got three. Actually, I should here. I'm going to show you guys this. Whoops. Zoom out. And I hope this is attached. Brother there parking sign. Shh. Oh my, man's got to be. Oh my goodness, it's 11:45, y'all. It is time for me to pack up and go home. Jump in the car and drive across the state. All right, so we're gonna have to let it go at that. The good news is I'm having a good time, so that'll make it easy to come back to this. Early next week when I get to come back. Alright, hang on just a minute. Let's do the, I'm just a silhouette to you. Sorry about that. I'll keep this thing in the silhouette. Hello, Regina. There's an art teacher here. So then, do you have a separate hotspot device machine? Yes, I do. I have two of them. One that I'm using right now, the other one, the camera itself is hotspot. Two hotspots. Sound is bad. Can't be up because, sorry, because I put in the power. If I unplug the power, everything will disappear. But anyway, we're going to fix it right now by ending this broadcast. Oh wait, maybe I never turned. No, my mic's on. Anyway, technical snafus and all. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to do a broadcast Saturday morning. I'm going to do a watercolor sketch. Cheap Joe is going to do North Carolina. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.